This is the Brocade Campus Feature Explainer series. Today we're going to talk about show default values and system max command. So from the factory, we allocate a certain amount of CAM space for all the features. So for example, we only allocate so much space for a number of VLANs and a number of spanning tree instances and ARP entries and route tables and things like that. But you can change those generally. So the way to see what those are set for is a command called show default values. Those are separate words, so show default values. So what we can see here is we see the system parameter, the default number, the maximum, the current, and the configured. So if we move down the table a little bit, we can see that, let's see, the number of VLANs here, it is currently set to, is default to 64, maximum of 495, currently set to 64, and configured for 256. So in this case, the number current and the number configured are almost always going to be the same number, except in this case, this is one of the very few features you have to reload after you make a change because it needs to reallocate the CAMs. And so in this case, I've already gone ahead and configured the number of VLANs for 256 and the number of spanning tree instances to 254, but I have not reloaded the device. So once I reload the device, the current and the configured will be the same number, but at this point that's not the case. So let's go in and show you how we make a change. So let's change the number of IP ARP entries, right? So it defaults to 2048. It's a maximum of 7168, currently 2048 and configured 2048. So in order to make that change, I need a command called system max, and that's done from config t. So system max, and then you have all your available parameters if you do a question mark there, but we are interested in IP ARP. So let's say we want to set it to 4096. We set the system max to 4096, and it tells you that there's a reload required. So please write memory and then do a reload. So we will do a write memory there. And then if we show the default values again, we should now see our IP ARP entries default to 2048, currently 2048, but it's configured for 4096. So once I do that reload, once I do the write memory and reload, then the current and the configured will be the same number. As you can see, I've still got some space to play in there. I could go up to 7168 in this particular device. It's a 7250. But I mean, if you try to allocate all of your CAMs to the maximum amount of space, eventually you're going to run out of space. So just set those to what you're going to utilize, but it's highly recommended to have a look at those and understand what you're going to use before you deploy your device in production, right? If you can set the maximum number of VLANs and the maximum number of spanning tree instances, etc., before you go into production, then you won't need to do a reload and get a maintenance window later in the future. Anyway, that's it, and thanks for joining.